So, we have this new atheistic movement called Atheism Plus. I've been seeing this coming for a really long time. I've seen little nuanced beliefs or nuanced dogmas that have come from the so-called atheistic community, like those who claim YOLO. For those who don't know what that is, that means you only live once, and people saying that, only atheists should be able to say that. But now, we seem to have the beginnings of an official, dogmatic, atheistic movement. Are we really going to join the theistic properties for which, at least for me, I don't know about the rest of you, but at least for me, one of the biggest reasons that I became an atheist, an agnostic atheist, was because of the dogma of religion. And now we are going to start setting a new set of dogma to be an atheist. While I might hold some of the beliefs that are in the new atheistic plus movement, I'm not going to subscribe to it. And I'm not going to subscribe to the atheist movement that is going to come to counter this movement. I'm not going to have any part of it. I don't feel like I am invested in this whole thing. And I'm going to separate as much as I can from the whole thing, because this is getting stupid. How can we do this? How can you take atheism and then say plus anything? I mean, we've been doing it, a lot of atheists have been doing it a long time. For me, a lot of people put atheism plus science for a long time. Now, that might be how some of us got to atheism, but a lot of us didn't get there that way. Others got there by emotional means, or were born into an atheistic family, or so on and so forth. But this entire thing I think it was an inevitability. It was going to happen. When you start getting large groups who share, I can't believe I'm saying this, a disbelief in something, eventually they're going to begin to seek things in which they do believe together. This is how people group together. And eventually I'm going to see leaders come through this, maybe even an atheistic pope. So glad you could join us. But even if I do hold some of the beliefs that the atheistic plus movement does hold, I think labeling it under atheism is not the way to go. If you are a secularist, start a secular movement. If you want to fight for these equal rights, this isn't an atheist movement. What is this? Atheist plus secularism? Okay, not all atheists are secularists. Not by a long shot. And I would even go so far to say that most atheists see their belief as superior to theist beliefs. And while one might be right, while the atheistic perspective might be the correct one, it does not make you superior to anyone else. No one. I'm sorry if you don't like that, and even if you come to this conclusion logically that there probably is no God, that does not make you superior in any way, shape, or form. You are no biologically different than any other human being on the rest of the planet, and with only a small variance, but nothing that is going to affect your mental capacity. We all have the same kind of brain. While each brain is very individual per person, and the way the neurons connect to other neurons, the synapses and everything else, everybody has the same potential. And now that we are going this far as starting a dogma, we are going to get to the point where I can see factions of atheism beginning to start. Probably the first one, obviously, this Atheism Plus, is a liberal faction. Then we'll have a conservative faction. And then we might get into economic factions like Atheism Plus Supply Side Economics, Atheism Plus Keynesian Economics. This is going to get really retarded really fast. And this is just the beginning, and I don't think there's going to be much of any way to stop this, because when people get together, this is what happens. You're going to have these groupthinks, this group thinking, and we've already had it in the atheistic community for a really long time. But it is now official. It is now getting pronounced. You can at least join one group. Soon there will be others. And I'm just going to stay out of this entire thing. I'm getting to the point where I'm not going to really associate myself with atheism at all. Even though I'm still going to call myself an agnostic atheist, I'm still not going to associate with these groups, because my atheism is definitely going to be different than any other person's atheism. Specifically because my brain is wired differently than every other atheist on the whole face of the planet. So we need to have a better discussion on this and realize that we are just a set of people who are going to share very differing and nuanced beliefs, and we need to just leave it at that. Because atheism is no more than what atheism implies, and that is a belief, a lack thereof of a belief in God, and that's all there is to it. And if we add any more to that, then we will be corrupting or just trying to play to other, well, in this instance, Atheist Plus is playing to the liberal side of, is trying to placate to the liberals. But not all liberals, but most liberals are also secularists, and putting atheism in front of the secularism in the way that they're trying to do this, as I see. But there are some more beliefs that in here that obviously aren't secularism in any way or means. In the end, this is all just crazy, and I think inevitable, because people are crazy, and people are going to get together and have a group think. Why?